Welcome to our end of week news bulletin. I am Sergeant Doreen Kerubo. The KDF Weekly Bulletin is a show to keep you updated on events undertaken by the Ministry of Defence over the week. In today's bulletin, Kenya Revenue Authority Revenue Service Assistants pass out at the Recruits Training School in Eldoret. Chief of Defence Forces visits Nanyuki region. Kenya Defence Forces flags off 3rd Quick Reaction Force to the Democratic Republic of Congo. And in sports, Moi Air Base emerges victorious in Taekwondo Championship. Today, Revenue Service Assistants from the Kenya Revenue Authority held their graduation ceremony at the Recruits Training School in Eldoret. The training that commenced in June this year is an initiative of the Kenya Revenue Authority implemented through a partnership with the Kenya Defence Forces and the Kenya School of Revenue Administration after a memorandum of understanding was signed between the two institutions to jointly implement the training at the Kenya Defence Forces Recruits Training School. The graduation ceremony was graced by Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, the Principal Cabinet Secretary. Take a look.
Honorable Musalia Mudavadi commended instructors from both the Kenya Defence Forces and the Kenya Revenue Authority for a job well done and further congratulated the graduates on completing the comprehensive training. The trainees underwent rigorous security training by the Kenya Defence Forces, who are tasked with the responsibility of cultivating within them discipline, patriotism, and the requisite physical fitness to better enable them undertake their duties.
East Africa Community Ministers of Defense met in Nairobi to consider the progress of the East Africa Community Regional Force in the Democratic Republic of Congo. During the meeting, the East Africa Community Ministers acknowledged that significant progress had been made by the regional force towards supporting armed forces of the Democratic Republic of Congo in the maintenance of law and order, opening up of the main supply routes, facilitating access to the humanitarian aid, the observance of ceasefire between warring parties, and the return of normalcy in some areas.
Speaking at the event, Honorable Aden Duale, Cabinet Secretary for Defense, acknowledged that the Democratic Republic of Congo is a key strategic partner, adding that regional peace and stability is key for socio-economic development.
I pray and hope that by the end of our deliberations, we will live here when we are all in agreement that our neighborhood, our countries are safe and secure. The security and safety of one of the member states is as important as it is to the other one.
Honorable Engineer Elaine Trebet, the chairperson of East Africa Community Defense Ministers, who is also the Minister of National Defense and War Veterans, noted that the outcome of the meeting shall go a long way in addressing the challenges faced by East Africa Community Regional Force and guiding the next phase in restoring peace and security in Eastern DRC.
In other news, General Francis Ogola, Chief of the Defence Forces, visited Kenya Defence Forces camps and formations in Nanyuki region in a bid to engage the troops, assess their effectiveness and efficiency, and boost their morale.
During the visit, General Ogola emphasized the need to develop a strong human spirit that will always ensure they exceed their limitations and assure the leadership of his full support and that of the Defence Headquarters.
Everybody must make a contribution because the contribution and effort of each and everyone is needed. And that is why I say we must all come together to create the synergy of that force.
He lauded service personnel in the region for their efforts in combating terrorism and ensuring sustainable peace and security within the region.
Honorable Aden Duale, the Cabinet Secretary for Defense, held bilateral talks with the Secretary General of the East African Community and the Secretary to the Summit of East African Community Heads of State and Government, Honorable Peter Mathuki. The Secretary General paid the CS a courtesy call at the Defence Headquarters here in Nairobi. During the meeting, Honorable Duale affirmed Kenya's commitment to continue championing all efforts aimed at having a more cohesive and integrated community of nations. This, he said, was to realize the much-desired regional peace, security, and prosperity. The two leaders discussed a wide range of issues that are of mutual benefit to the East African Community member states and explored areas of possible cooperation and partnership. Switching gears, Lieutenant General Peter Njiru, Commander Kenya Army, paid a visit to troops who will soon be deployed to the Democratic Republic of Congo under the United Nations Organization Stabilization Mission in Congo at Embakasi Garrison here in Nairobi.
Speaking during the visit, Commander Kenya Army urged the team to uphold the image of Kenya Defence Forces and maintain high standards of discipline and integrity while executing their mandate. He further added that Kenya has kept a good record in peacekeeping mission and expect nothing less from the contingent.
Whenever you are out on duty, uphold professionalism. Professionalism is what has built us, has built KDF's name. Na watu wanajua akiona this is a KDF soldier, this is a KDF officer, wanajua kwamba they have a competent individual who is able to perform to the expected standards.
He warned the service personnel against engaging in any activity contrary to the United Nations Code of Conduct and that of the Kenya Defence Forces.
Moving on, Major General John Omenda, Commander Kenya Air Force, led officers and service members in the annual short-range classification at the Pistol Range in Moi Air Base here in Nairobi. The exercise aids in the classification of senior officers as well as service members. The range classification event is a one-week exercise and is in line with the Kenya Defence Forces philosophy of efficiency and effectiveness through training. Moving on to naval matters, Major General Jimson Mutai, Commander Kenya Navy, presided over the Commander Kenya Navy Divisions at the Kenya Navy Base Mtongwe in Mombasa. Commander Kenya Navy Divisions is a formal parade conducted annually by the Kenya Navy personnel drawn from different Kenya Navy bases and formation to offer the commander an opportunity to address and interact with the sailors.
During his address, Major General Mutai expressed his appreciation to the sailors for their dedication and commitment shown in carrying out their assignments since the beginning of the year. He further commended the Kenya Navy personnel involved in the midlife refit of the Kenya Navy ship Shupavu for the exemplary work exhibited to accomplish the ship's refurbishment in time. The ship was rededicated to the Kenya Navy after undergoing a midlife refit at the Kenya Shipyards Limited, Mombasa Shipyard, last month in a ceremony presided over by the President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defence Forces. The commander also congratulated the sailors for their participation in tree planting exercises that have seen Kenya Navy plant over 100,000 trees in different parts of the coast region.
On regional stability, Brigadier David Chesire, Commander 8th Brigade, flagged off Kenya Defence Forces 3rd Quick Reaction Force to the Democratic Republic of Congo at Embakasi Garrison here in Nairobi. The force is part of Kenya's troops to be deployed to Congo on peacekeeping support operations.
Speaking during the event, Brigadier Chesire acknowledged the preparedness of the troops and urged them to adhere to the Code of Conduct of the United Nations as they embrace professionalism through responsibility and accountability.
You are part of the UN Peacekeeping Force Abai Hikopule, DRC. And that means respecting and executing the mandate vile imewekwa.
The Commander 8th Brigade further urged the service personnel to be good ambassadors of Kenya as their predecessors have done in previous peacekeeping missions.
Sadia Omar is a happy mother after Kenya Defence Forces troops operating under the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia assisted in welcoming her third child despite facing multiple delivery complications that necessitated a cesarean section operation. The troops also provided the mother, who is differently able, with a wheelchair and clothing for the new baby. During her hospitalization at the Kenya Defence Forces Level 2 Hospital in Sector 2 Doble, the new mother received medical treatment including curative drugs, diagnostic procedures and nursing care. Take a look.
Colonel Adan Safe, the Deputy Commander of Sector 2, emphasized the importance of countering terrorist activities and safeguarding civilians in Somalia, along with prioritizing health and education.
We do all these activities so that we bring closer the local population. We build cordial relationship with them.
He further noted that the troops' mandate also involves protecting civilians and vulnerable groups like women and children.
As the Gender Office, Sector 2, we have been in the forefront in improving the social lives of women within the sector.
To ensure full recovery, the new mother is undergoing a physiotherapy program at the facility.
In sports this week, the Kenya Defence Forces Taekwondo Championship ended after a fierce 3-day competition that saw teams from different bases, formation and services compete at Moi Air Base Gymnasium. The Pumse contest saw 14 teams compete for top scores within the different categories. At the culmination of the 3-day competition, Moi Air Base emerged as the overall winner. In the women's category, Kenya Navy Base Mtongwe led with 8.5 points, while Kenya Navy Base Manda scored 8.1 points. Take a look.
Commander Kahawa Garrison Brigadier Matthew Lenamunai, during the award presentation ceremony, encouraged the teams to continue working hard and smart, as Taekwondo is a sport of discipline, virtue, and winning is important, but holding on to virtue taught during training is key.
I thank all participants for putting the best effort in getting about competitive spirits in this competition.
The creativity level, that is what gave us the edge at this competition. Looking forward, we need to do a lot because people are actually training.
In the competition, children were not left out as they showcased their skills.
Thank you for watching. We look forward to your feedback via our official social media handles and your viewership next Friday for the KDF Weekly Bulletin. I am Sergeant Doreen Kerubo. Goodbye.